This video is a parent resource regarding sextortion against children. The FBI provides some information and some tips, and I have turned those tips into a video. And there's also, in the next slide, it is actual testimony of a young lady who at 14 was the victim of child sextortion.
I first got MySpace when I was in 5th grade, and my mom was on top of that all the time, and stranger danger and whatnot, and just don't talk to strangers and people you don't know. And then, so there's always that fear in my head, but nothing too, this could never happen to me. I'm Ashley, this can't happen to me, I'm normal. But little did I know that I ended up getting terrorized is the only way I can think of it, by this guy. I just remember getting this message that the subject line said something about naked pictures and that he has of me. I ignored it. I didn't know who he was. I didn't want to answer it or even open it up. It was never me believing that he was some charming 16-year-old older boy or something that I could be talking to make a relationship out of. It was never like that. It was pure business, it felt like. It was an exchange. I gave him the pictures and I got to keep my reputation. He was not going to stop, and he was set on sharing my picture with whoever he could to ruin my reputation. I felt like a slave. I had to make sure I replied to every message. I had to give him like an explanation. I feel like, why wasn't I replying? And then my lies of everything and what I was doing and whatnot, and then having him know, I'm sorry, I have school in the morning, I have to do this, I'm at school till this time. And then I'd have my nights where I just felt, I just felt depressed. I remember just laying in bed with silence and just thinking, and I felt like God was so disappointed in me. I didn't know like what to do, but I wouldn't get home till late at night, and then I'd have to send him all these pictures, and as I'm doing this, he would be like, no, this isn't right. This one's blurry, or you didn't do this right, you weren't doing it right, you gotta do it again. So then that's where being a slave to him comes in, because I had to make sure I complied, and I sent him all this because, one, maybe tomorrow I'll get a break. I'll get a day off tomorrow if I just do all these right, which I never wanted to send them or like give him what he wanted, but I wanted my freedom, I guess. So I figured the only way to do that is if I do it right, but nothing was ever right. I didn't even want to believe what I was doing, and it would be so awkward. Like I don't even like telling my parents, I'm 20, I don't like telling my parents if I have a boyfriend or not. So it's like, I'm a quiet person. I keep my business to myself, but I just didn't want my parents to be disappointed in me. I can't, it's just embarrassing to talk about. I still remember going into the bedroom where the computer was when my parents sat me down, and I was like, it was like instant like panic attack. Like my heart and stomach was just, I was like, I don't know what to do right now. Like, how am I going to explain this? And then I got brought into the room and had to come clean once my mom showed me the messages that she saw. That was a relief. It took me a while to realize it was a relief. At first it was embarrassment and like awkward and crying, and I was afraid because I didn't want to go to jail for sexting, and then at least someone knew, and there's no way to describe like just having someone know, and like I'm free, I guess. I don't even have to go into detail to say like what I went through. Just knowing that someone else knows, that someone else is aware that I'm not the only one who knows what I've been doing. It's bricks off of your back. Oh, as awkward as it could be depending on how close you are with your parents, you're gonna feel that awkward. That's heaven compared to feeling alone and closed and by yourself. But I just wish there were like available outlets for a 14-year-old's brain if they're too afraid to go to their parents, because they don't want to go to their parents and tell them what's happening to them. So if they had a different way to go about it, then I think that would make it a lot more comfortable, and it would kind of get the ball rolling for them and to put an end to what they're going through. This is something that came into my life, and as horrible and bad as it is, I know that I can help. How people want to be like a doctor and save someone. I want to help someone who's in this situation that gets overlooked all the time. It's just, we weren't raped. We're overlooked because nobody actually touched us. I don't want anyone to feel bad for me. I don't need anyone to feel bad for me. I feel like, use that energy and just get the word out.
So the topics here that they want parents to know about, the first one is, what is sextortion? This is what we're going to cover. And the next one is going to be, why would any child or teen agree to do such a thing? And then the next topic is, but my child would never do that. And the next one is, why don't the victims tell someone or ask for help? And then the last one is going to be, how do I protect the young people I know? These are the topics that we're going to discuss that were mentioned just a minute ago, and we're starting with the first one. It's right at the top. It says, what is sextortion? Sextortion occurs when an adult, through threat or manipulation, coerces a minor into producing a sexually explicit image and sending it over the internet. Okay, our first topic, why would any child or teen agree to do such a thing? And this is the information from the FBI. And it says criminals are skilled and ruthless and have honed their techniques and approaches to maximize their chance of success. And this goes on to talk about entry points with young people, and it's so sad because they use mobile online sites, application, or games, and the game issue is becoming very prevalent. Their approach may come as a compliment or flattery, pretense of beginning a romantic relationship. And another entry point they say is they offer children something of value for taking a picture, and possibly, modeling contract or online game credits or codes or money or cryptocurrency and gift cards. These are some of the tricks they use against young people to get them to produce these images. Now, the next one is, why would any child or teen agree to do such a thing? That's the complicated part. And I like the answer the FBI give. So the third common point of entry is to go right to threats by either claiming they already have an image of the young person that they will distribute, or threatening to harm the child or other people or things the child cares about, like you as a parent or caregiver or a friend of a child. Once the perpetrator has the first image, and this is the key, they use the threat of exposure or other harm to keep the child producing more and more explicit material. Now, we often think our children would never do something like this, but that's not always true, as the FBI has noted here. In this particular portion of their statement, it says the FBI interviewed victims as young as 8 years old. And it goes on to talk about how it affects the children. It crosses both gender and class, socioeconomic groups. It doesn't care if the child is honor roll student, children of teachers, student athletes, and said the only common trait among the victims is internet access. Now we getting to this part that we all know. Why don't the victims tell someone or ask for help? The cycle of victimization continues because the child is afraid of the repercussions threatened by the criminals, afraid they will be in trouble with their parents, guardian, or law enforcement. By the time a child is a victim, they have done something that may be generating deep feelings of shame and embarrassment. The criminal may also be telling them that they have produced child pornography and will be prosecuted for it. In addition, they may fear their access to their phone or computer will be taken away from them as a result of their actions. So the understanding component of who's wrong, the child at these early ages, or how can I put this, or their lack of wisdom, that the adult is the real criminal, not them. How do I protect the young people I know? Information sharing and open lines of communication are the best defense. Young people need to know this crime is happening and understand where the risks are hiding. Explain to the children in your life that people can pretend to be anyone or anything online. A stranger reaching out to them online may be doing so with bad intent. No matter what the platform or application claims, nothing disappears online. If they take a photo or a video, it always has the potential to become public. And as an IT professional, I understand that truly, because the systems are backed up every day. That data is copied to a tape or a drive or something so that it can be restored, or it's copied to another site that the criminal actually has no access to delete if he wanted to, or even you. It is very hard to track down information. Once it gets on one server, it can be copied to numerous servers, and you can never erase all the copies. It's almost an impossibility. So, how do I protect the young people I know? You may choose to place certain limits on your children's internet use, or spot check their phones or other devices to see what applications they are using and with whom they are communicating. That's the key. That's the part that we oftentimes are so concerned about, our children's privacy and our children's desire for privacy, which we try to respect as children get to be older. But I told my children, and I'm dating myself, years ago, when they wanted to put a phone in their rooms, I said, no, we only have one phone in the house, and that's where it's in my room. And then I think I had one in the kitchen, because I wasn't putting phones in their rooms where I could not monitor them and know who they were talking to. So this is kind of a situation where you're going to have to be okay with not being their friend or having them be angry with you to keep them safe. And the article goes on to say this can be part of an open and ongoing conversation about what it is and is not appropriate online. It also may be worth considering a rule against devices in bedrooms overnight, or shutting off Wi-Fi access in the overnight hours. Caregivers may also want to review the settings on a young person's social media accounts with them. Keeping accounts private can prevent predators from gathering their personal information. And I did a seminar on identity theft, and that's one way that they garner information to get you to believe that they are someone you know, or you know someone that knows them. Because they go on the social media sites, and if the settings are not correct, they gather all this information about you, where you live, where you go to school, and all of these things, or where your parents work. And next thing you know, they calling you, telling you they know you, and the stuff they would say will convince you that they must know you because they have so much information. So it is important to make sure that all the security is turned on. And my rule is, I just do not post social media stuff out there that's explicit about where I live, or pictures of my family and all of this, because in the world we live in today, there's no such thing as a secure system. It's just when it's going to be hacked. That's the reality of it. It's just when. Now, how do you protect the young people I know? The other crucial element is to keep the door open to your children so that they know they can come to you and ask for help. Let them know that your first move will be to help always. not to criticize or find fault or pass judgment. These are some serious times today. These predators are powerful because of fear, and the victims suffer even more negative consequence as the crime carries on over days, weeks, and months. That is absolutely frightening. If you are the adult a child trusts with this information, comfort them, help them to understand they have been the victim of a crime, and help them report it to the law enforcement. As you saw in that video of that young lady, she said don't feel sorry for her. She wants to get the word out to help people not be taken advantage of. So now we're going to talk about some topic starters. The FBI in this resource for parents put these 3 topic starters in there, and so we're going to cover these now. There's 3 topic starters. I guess it says 30-second conversations, and it's a way to talk to your children and open some dialogue in regards to this issue of them possibly being victimized. Okay, topic 1, a new version of don't talk to strangers. Okay, the first question is you would ask in starting off the conversation, when you're online, has anyone you don't know ever tried to contact or talk to you? And then another question could be, what did you do or what would you do if that happened? Then another question is, why do you think someone would want to reach a kid online? That could be very revealing. And then the last question in this section is, it's easy to pretend to be someone you're not online. Not every person is a good person. Make sure you block or ignore anything that comes in from someone you don't know in real life. And that's when you really have to explain to them, because like I said earlier, people pretend to know you based on information they've stolen from someone else's profile. So you really have to go into that with them and make sure. And it's so hard because young people always want to meet new people and talk, and they can be very trusting, especially when people come to them with fake information. Now this topic is the power of a picture. And I think this is the hardest topic to discuss with young people, especially in our age when they take so many selfies and things. Now, the first question here, has anyone you know ever sent a picture of themselves that got passed around school or a team or a club? And I would go into detail and ask them, because they're not looking for just a cheerleader picture of just a bunch of you guys sitting on the grass studying. They're looking for pictures of children in compromising positions, or maybe your child was in the locker room and somebody took a picture of them, as they're getting ready to go in the shower, or maybe they took a picture of themselves in the nude and sent it to someone. Young people do these things, so I think discussing what type of picture is very important. Now, this one is very good because this is the question that gets into consequence of the picture. What's possible anytime you send someone a picture? That one is the most important one. I think that's where you can get into the concept of consequences of the types of picture you're sending, and make them be aware that that picture could turn up in some very unpleasant places and come back to haunt you years later. What if that picture were embarrassing? This again is about the consequence and the types of pictures you send, not just a picture of you on the grass or riding your bike. They're looking for compromising pictures. Can you think about how someone could use that kind of picture against a person? Now, this particular question, it gets to motivation and helping the young person realize not only can they create a picture of someone and send it to someone as a joke and to poke fun at someone, but the same thing can happen to them. And a lot of time young people don't realize the things they do to laugh at their friends or whatever, the thing can be turned on them as well. Now, this part, I'm here to help. And this is the most important part, is to reassure the young person that you are not going to pass judgment. And the first question says, and I think this is a good lead-in question. I read an article today about kids being pressured to send images and videos of their bodies to a person they met online. Have you ever heard about anything like that? I think that's a very good question. It's a good icebreaker because it doesn't throw it back at the child. It gives the child a way out to discuss something. And I would bring actual articles. If it was me, I would bring actual articles to show that this thing is very real. Okay, sometimes they were being threatened and harassed and scary stuff. And that's why I would bring the articles, like the stuff from the FBI, that video. You can show that video. I have the link there. You can get it from the FBI's website. You know, if you are ever feeling like something is going on online or off, that feels scary or wrong or over your head. That's a powerful part, because in that first video in this series I did on sextortion, it talks about some of the things that were said to these young people and what these young people went through, all of the threats and all of the stuff that they were saying, that they was very confused. And I like what the psychologist said in the first video about this was that even though they think they're grown or they're older, they still are not developed enough to understand the difference between them being a victim and being victimized in this. My first concern is going to be helping you. You can always come to me. And I think that's important too, letting them know that you're there for them. You're not there to criticize. And I think the main thing to let them know that they are the victim. They're the ones being misused. They're not going to suffer any kind of consequences for their behavior and the things they've been trapped into. The person that has put them in this position is the one that's breaking the law. Now, this is the end of this little part about information for parents from the FBI for the concept of sextortion against children. This is a terrible thing, and it's a risk we have to address with our children. They often feel safe, like it says in that first video from the FBI that I did. They feel safe. They're at home. They're playing their favorite games. They're on their favorite social site, and they don't think it's anything there that can hurt them. And we have to, once again, let them know that the stranger danger thing, as the young girl said, is so much different today than it was as you were meeting someone on the sidewalk. We still have to go over those things as well, but now there's this increased risk, and the FBI said that this child sextortion thing has been increasing. So we need to make our children aware that this stuff is really going on. And I thank you so much for watching this video, and have a great day.